I'm Hau Yu, and well, you know what I'm running for. And I just wanted to say before I started that this is really nice. Like this kind of feeling, this urgency, this keenness, and we could do something like this maybe in some exec meetings. Like you see it at Southwark Council where you have an open meeting and people can come and join in. It's not just a closed shop. So that links in nicely to what I was going to say anyway for my first point, which is that if democracy and education at SOAS is the stage that we want, it should be a little bit more like this, like forum and participatory theatre. When people think about the connections between theatre and politics, they think about how politics is like a performance, they think about other kinds of connections, how people might have to be savvy managers first and artists second. But the nature of forum theatre and what I'm hoping to sort of bring to the role by saying something like that is that the nature of forum theatre is to be an equalising space, and it is to diffuse power among actors who are also the audience, like what we're seeing today. So this year I sat on exec as PGT officer, and the role was defined in a certain capacity, and I kind of filled it with my ambition. So I'm a part-time MA law student, and I also work in community centres as a community worker. I work in Hackney with East Asian community centres. And what I found this year was it was 3 lots of very intense workloads, building foundations for things that things where cleavages existed already, and where I found that representation and participation, were, I don't want to say failing, but there was much to be done, basically. PGT students make up, for example, 50% of the student body, and there is this self-perpetuating myth that they're not interested in politics because they're here for 1 year and they're just going to leave. And I'm sure that also applies of other community groups as well, I'm sure. So for example, East Asians are also said to be the same. They don't care because they're an invisible minority. So what my thing is to try to burst these bubbles and to stop these myths from self-perpetuating. And I think as an older voice, I've studied undergrad elsewhere, I can bring a fresh perspective while also bringing some history, because I've been coming here since 2015 just to enjoy myself and to get to know people. Not enough time to talk about my policies, but briefly just improving rep.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.